Peace River MLA, Peace River North MLA, Dan Davies, who joins us now from Fort St. John. Dan, welcome to Moose Talks as usual.
Hey, good morning, Dub. Good morning.
All right, well, let's start with the Restart BC plan. Government unveiled their plan earlier this week. Once again, contingent on vaccination rates this time and COVID case counts meeting certain benchmarks. As brief as possible, what do you think of this plan? Do you think it's going to accomplish anything, and is it helpful and good? Oh, goodness. It looks like Dan may have frozen there. This is unprecedented. He was so ready to join us. So, yeah, it looks like he's frozen. So I think what we'll do actually is we're going to take... Dan, are you there?
Yeah, I was totally lost internet connection. Man, love this technology. You talked about the circuit breaker. Sorry.
Yeah. I just wanted your thoughts on what you thought of the plan so far, what the government said they're going to do.
Yeah, well, I'll tell you the first thing, Dub. It's good to see that we do have a plan now. I think people have been really wanting to look forward to as we start to see vaccines being distributed. People are getting the vaccines. I know the number here, and there's a bit of news on the local numbers are low, and it's not due to people locally not wanting to get the vaccine. It's we don't have the supply. I spoke to the clinic here in town, down at the mall. They're full out, giving there's very lows. When the pharmacies get it, it's gone immediately. So we just need more capacity to get the vaccines out. But as things keep rolling out, we're going to start seeing things looking fairly normal here. And summer should be pretty decent. As we move into the fall, things should be looking pretty good.
All right. So obviously you want to see more supply from the government, which I believe they've said they're working on. What else are you expecting more of as this, or were you expecting more from this plan as it was rolled out?
Well, obviously, I think one of the things that is missing, and we've been hearing from it, is the support for businesses, support for organizations. We're not out of this, the pandemic, I guess. Obviously, it's getting better, but businesses, not-for-profits, different events that happen around the province, they still need support. To be able to carry out. And one such instance, our Legion, is one of the organizations that was not in the funding. And anybody here in Fort St. John that knows the Legion, I mean, it is a hub, organization that supports so many things, does so many great things in our community. So there's lots of little things that are missing. Businesses here up in Fort St. John, even up in Fort Nelson, that may have partial ownership with an Alberta, a person that lives in Alberta, they don't qualify. Even though their entire operation is here in Fort St. John, they don't qualify for any of the supports because part of their ownership is in another jurisdiction, which isn't right. I mean, they pay taxes here in Fort St. John. The employees are here in Fort St. John. It impacts our community. And so there's a few little things that I'm currently advocating for and trying to get added into this. But overall, like you say, it is good to see that we are moving forward, and summer should be looking pretty good.
All right. I want to talk more about Legions in just a minute because I know it's dear and close to your heart. But first, this plan, I would say, and this may be just my opinion, seems reasonable compared to other jurisdictions, for example, like Alberta, which seems to be moving a fair amount quicker than we are. For example, I think Stampede, they're maybe even aiming to have Stampede go ahead without really any restrictions, and that's in July. What do you say to constituents who maybe are even on the other side of this, who you have constituents like this, who are maybe concerned even we're moving a little too fast for this? What do you say to allay their fears that this is reasonable and it's going to work out?
Yeah, overall, British Columbia has done pretty darn good in managing the pandemic. We just have to look to to other provinces where they are now, where they've been. I mean, British Columbia, we have not had to do a lockdown in British Columbia. For the most part, businesses have stayed open or been allowed to stay open. We haven't had curfews, so I compare us to other provinces and how things have rolled out, and I think overall British Columbia has done pretty good. A lot of that, I think, came there was a tremendous amount of cooperation across the parties at the start of this pandemic, and I think that weighed heavy, and that kind of changed, with the snap election in the fall. But overall, British Columbia has done pretty good, and we are continuing to do pretty good. We can't play politics with this. This is not a political thing. We need to make sure that we are following the best science that's out there, and making sure that we're doing what is in the best interest of people, while at the same time balancing our economy. And this is, I think, where pieces of it have fallen down on the government.
Okay. Let's talk about Legions now. You had an opinion column. I think it was your last one. If it wasn't, I apologize. But you talked about the government's lack of financial support for Legions in BC. Why are they exempt from the COVID-19 supports? Do you have an understanding as to why at least the government says they are?
No, they just did not fit all the check boxes of the grants that were given out. I know the president of Pacific and Yukon Command, which is the nation for Legions in British Columbia, wrote the premier as well as the minister, stating their dire need. They're looking at and some have already closed. We've already lost Legions in the province. There's a number out there that 30% of our Legions may not make it through this.
Wow.
So it's not, Legions, they're not just a bar. They're a community hub. They support our veterans. They support youth groups. Our Legion houses many other not-for-profits. And that was the argument point that was made to the premier and the minister. Like, why? We need these support grants. We cannot make money right now. Many Legions are closed. Our Legion is closed right now. It does not make sense to exclude the Legion, and the ANAVETS is also the other organization. So both of our veteran organizations in the province were not included in this grant. And we have written the premier. We've brought this up during question period, and there still seems to be, for whatever reason, no movement by the government to send some of the grants to our Legions. It's crazy.
Mm-hmm. Well, I know our Legion in town, has karaoke sometimes, a meat draw, of course, and they, as you say, host a lot of other activities, and you're heavily involved in it. So I wonder if you can speak to, what's the prognosis going forward for the Legion here in Fort St. John? Are we in dire straits? Is our Legion one of the ones that it's looking bad for right now and may not make it?
Well, I don't want to actually speak for the Legion, but I did talk to the president just a little while ago. We have done pretty well, the Fort St. John Legion, our branch, over the years. We have a predominantly younger membership than many Legions do. We have a fairly busy lounge, and you mentioned a couple of things. I mean, the karaoke draws a number of people in. The meat draws and other events. Dart League obviously is a huge draw. So I think our Legion is holding on, but how much longer is the question. And this is again why I'm happy to see this the restart. Things should be opening up here. I imagine. I can't say for sure, but I'm suspecting the Legion will open up in some capacity, in the coming days now that we can. But again, it goes back to Fort St. John is a very supporting community. People give when they need to, and I know the Legion. If they do need support, I know that the community is going to be there to support them.
All right. We have to move on quickly to Bill 7, the Electoral Boundaries Commission. Now, anytime this comes up for debate, the concern is always for rural ridings and how it'll kind of affect perhaps the balance of power in the province and whatnot. So this is a bill where, as I understand it, could add up to 6 seats in the legislature, and they'd all be in the Lower Mainland, as far as I know. What are your concerns about the bill, and what do you hope the government changes in it maybe going forward or considers changing?
So this is, to be honest, a direct attack on our democracy. There's no other way to put it. We have been, for many, well, forever. There's always been this rural, urban. I hate to use the word divide, but the us versus them. We are always trying to bring our issues from rural BC to Victoria, which is predominantly filled by MLAs that are in Vancouver, the lower part of Vancouver Island, some of the larger centers. So there already is an imbalance. A number of years ago, there was some legislation put in place. It was called the Rural Protection, and that was part of the electoral boundary. And it was basically saying you cannot just look at the numbers. You also have to look at the demographic or the geography. So I look at my riding. It's the size of 3 small European countries. Mm-hmm. It's 170,000 square kilometers. It's from here to the Yukon border, the mountains to the Alberta border. And I have the needs are very diverse. People want to be able, and we have a very busy office here and a very busy office in Fort Nelson. People want to come. They want to talk to the MLA. They want to connect with government. My colleagues in Vancouver, they represent a riding the size of 10 blocks. And very, similar needs in each of those areas. So that is one of the big things that why they have that rural protection piece in place. The challenge is, and you mentioned it, the legislation allows for up to 6 new seats, which all of those will be in the Lower Mainland, because there is substantial growth in the Lower Mainland. But the other challenge is if it goes to strictly a numbers base, we will lose a significant number of our rural ridings. For instance, my riding would probably amalgamate with South Peace and a little bit of Prince George Mackenzie. So I could go all the way to Mackenzie, up as far as Dease Lake in the north, and as far as McBride in the south. So a massive, a third of Europe size riding. We all of these seats, which could be anywhere from 6 to 10 seats lost in rural BC, those seats aren't being lost. They're lost in rural BC, but they're going to be transferred down to the Lower Mainland. So not only does the Lower Mainland now have 6 additional seats, they're also going to get the additional seats that have been amalgamated from within the interior. So again, the voice of rural BC is going to be near void in the provincial legislature, and that is the issue. We're in second reading right now on this bill. In fact, I'll be speaking to it sometime this week, and the bill will probably wrap up early next week and be voted on and become law. And what that does is then it allows a commissioner to be appointed, and it starts about a year-long process of doing a tour around the province, public open houses, engagement, and this is where people need to get engaged. They need to come out, voice their opinions. I know that many organizations across the province are already organizing. We've got the chamber that is already organized. We've been talking to UBCM, mayors and councils across the province. So there already is a lot of people that are worried what this looks like forward in this at our democracy, not improving our democracy. And we're not saying we don't need more seats in the Lower Mainland. Nobody said that. We understand it is growing down there. But we need to make sure that we still have the protection of our rural seats in place, so that part of having the ability to contact your MLA and walk into the office easily still remains in place.
All right, Dan. Well, we'll be following that story closely as well, as to see if the government does supply some financial aid, at least for the Legions here in BC. Dan, always great to talk to you. Thanks so much for joining us today.
Thanks. Look forward to chatting again. And like I say, I have a long list. I can take up your whole next show if we want.
Sounds good, Dan. That's Dan Davies, the Peace River North MLA. We'll be right back to talk to 2 Dr. Kearney students about their Canada-wide science fair projects right after this on Moose Talks.
Hi, I'm Bob Zimmer, Member of Parliament for Prince George, Peace River, Northern Rockies. It is my honor to serve our community and to be your voice in the House of Commons. If you need assistance with any federal department, like the Canada Revenue Agency, immigration, passports, or any other issue, please stop by my Fort St. John office at 9916 100th Avenue. We're open from Monday to Friday from 8:30 to 4:30, or call 250-787-1192. We look forward to seeing you.
For all your gravel hauling, contaminated waste, low beds, and graders, Rogers Trucking can meet your needs. call them today at 250-785-3647.
Big money, big money!
The Neat Bingo Extravaganza is every Tuesday night at 7. Support Neat's many programs to help us all live greener lives here in northern BC and win cold, hard cash. Bingo cards are $5 each and available at Fireweed Market, Gateway Esso, Taylor Inn Liquor Store, and at neat.ca. The Neat Bingo Extravaganza is every Tuesday night at 7 on Facebook at Moose FM and at Energetic City.
BC Gaming Event License number 126599. Know your limit, play within it. 19 plus.
Get ready for it, St. John. The Hairbin Summer Community Cruiser is back and ready to hang out with you all summer long. I'm Spencer and I'll be driving the Summer Cruiser this year. I'll be going to community events all around the North Peace region throughout the summer, and I want to hear what you're up to. Having a yard sale, bake sale, or hosting a fundraiser? Whatever it is, I want to hear all about it. Email me at cruiser@moosefm.ca and I might swing by your event. Listen to Moose FM throughout the summer to find out where I'll be and come say hi. The Hairbin Summer Community Cruiser, sponsored by Wendy's, Ashland Furniture, Megmar Tirecraft, Home Hardware, and the Fort St. John Co-op.
The City of Fort St. John and Knappin Industries would like to advise the public that starting May 5th, 100th Street will be closed between 96th Avenue and 99th Avenue until the fall. Detour routes are in place and all businesses are open and accessible. Please follow posted signage and the direction of traffic control personnel at all times. 100th Street will be closed between 96th Avenue and 99th Avenue until the fall starting May 5th. All local businesses remain open and accessible at all times. The City of Fort St. John and Knappin Industries thank you for your patience while we continue to improve our city.
Watch this show live on Facebook or download the podcast at energeticcity.ca.
Welcome back to Moose Talks. I'm Dub Craig. Now we're going to talk a bit about the Canada-wide Science Fair. We had 4 students go from Northeast BC. They all performed well and all won awards and medals. It was really a good time for Northeast BC at this Canada-wide science fair. We're joined now by 2 of the students who presented projects at the fair. From Dr. Kearney Middle School, it's Swas Ghosh and Advai Nair. Thank you so much for being on the show, both of you.
Yeah, thank you.
You're welcome.
All right. Well, we'll start with you, Swas. Tell me a bit about this science fair. How did you get to it? Did you have a project already that you kind of had competed at your school or in the regional science fair that then you just kind of moved on and were able to then go to the Canada-wide science fair?
So I usually don't like to continue projects, so I started thinking about it somewhere around December and then building up on that project more and more.
I see. Where did the inspiration for your project come from? And by the way, why don't you tell us what your project was?
So my project is about how far or how good you can see certain garments. Mm-hmm. And the inspiration was a lot of people like to walk in the dark for a little stroll, and a lot of people wear black. So I wanted to warn them that it's dangerous to wear those dark colors as cars could crash into you.
I see. Did something happen to you or a friend that made you think about it, or was just sort of inspiration came to you one day?
It was just inspiration came to you one day.
Oh, wonderful. Well, we'll go to you now, Advai. What was your project about?
It was about water fluoridation and its impacts on dental health. And so water fluoridation is the addition of fluoride into water, and fluoride is used to improve dental health. And so, what I found out was that water fluoridation can help improve dental health at a safe level.
I see. And what was the inspiration for your project?
I went to a safe drinking water course that my dad taught when I was 11 years old. Mm-hmm. And then last year I did a project, and then I got selected for regionals, but then COVID hit and then everything got canceled. And so this year I decided to continue that project. Yeah.
Okay. I want to come back to you for a second then, Swas. I mean, explain, what was your findings? What were you able to find out was the best? I assume you were looking kind of for the best reflective material to use.
So, the best, like the farthest it could be seen was the safety vest. It was seen 150 meters and probably more. But if you don't want to wear a safety vest, then you can wear white, which could be seen around 70 to 80 meters, depending on the weather conditions.
Okay, so
And like this is like the worst case scenario. So it was snowing a lot on that day, so it probably could be seen further.
okay, so you were actually getting outside and testing each of these to see just how they worked, eh?
Yeah.
Wonderful. Well, I mean, we'll continue with you, Swasi. What was it like to then? Because I assume your situation's very similar to Advi. You were in the regional science fair and you got selected to move on, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah. So what was it like to attend? Were you nervous? Were you really excited to have the opportunity?
I was both nervous and excited. I didn't know which one to be, and I felt like I was gonna screw up the presentation.
Because I assume the science fair was virtual, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah. Same question to you, Advi. I mean, were you were selected to move on, as you said. Were you nervous? Were you really excited to do this? How did you feel?
I was nervous for regionals, but then when I got selected for Canada-wide, I was really excited and happy. Yeah.
Wonderful. Now, I believe from the release I saw, there was like hundreds of projects at this science fair, so there was a lot going on. Both of you won medals, as I mentioned in the intro. The other two students who came from the Northeast regional ones also won medals as well. Swas, I mean, how did that feel to be recognized for the work you did in your project? For them to say, "Hey, this is exceptional. Here's a medal."
I felt really good and excited, and at one point I was screaming in my head, I did it.
Were you aiming for that? Were you hoping you would be recognized in some way? Like, was that, before you got to the fair, was that something you were aiming for that you knew could have happened?
Yeah.
All right, same question to you, Advi. How did it feel to win a medal, and was that something you were hoping you would accomplish at the fair?
Yeah, I thought I wanted a medal. I mean, it was really good experience. Getting selected was really exciting, but getting a medal was even bigger, so yeah.
Wonderful. Well, Swas, one last question for each of you, actually, and we'll start with Swas. What's next for these projects? You found out what you did. You've got some medals awarded. Is this going to change, your life at all? Is there something next you can do with this, or maybe build on it to turn it into something else?
So I don't think you can forward this project more as it's a really short topic.
I see.
But I am thinking of more topics to choose for next year.
Mm-hmm. And you'll make sure that your parkas are white or have the safety vest things on it, eh? All right, same question for you, Advi. I mean, you found out fluoride generally helps with teeth health in a community. Do you have something next in mind for a project, maybe inspiration, or are you going to share your findings with somebody and may advocate for it?
I don't think I'm going to continue this project. There's a lot of stuff to continue, but I think I want to do another topic for next year.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Well, guys, I congratulate both of you again for going and winning something and being recognized. Both projects were very interesting. And I'm really thankful that you took a few minutes away from your school day today to talk to us. Thanks for being on the show, Swas.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you, and you're welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you as well, Advi. I appreciate it. That's Swaskosh and Advi Nair of Dr. Kearney Middle School talking a bit about their science fair, Canada-wide science fair projects. We'll be right back after this to finish off Moose Talks.
Due to the COVID-19 pandemic, the City of Fort St. John has increased garbage collection to weekly on your regular collection day. Recycling will continue as usual. Be aware pickup times may vary due to the extra pickups. Remember to keep your bins at least 3 feet apart and ensure the lids are closed. Learn more at fortstjohn.ca under Garbage and Recycling. Be a part is being in this together.
Hello, this is Troy from Lake Point Golf and Country Club. We are now open for the season and excited to be able to offer a safe recreational activity to the community. Please book your tee time in advance and check out our website lakepoint.ca for our mandated protocols prior to arrival. Also, check out our new member incentives. Call 250-785-5566 for more information and to book. We hope to see you soon. Swing by the lake.
If you're looking for hassle-free internet services, call the Peace Region Internet Society today. With coverage throughout most of the Peace, PRIS can get you connected quickly without the hassle of contracts or bundles. Visit PRIS.ca or call 1-800-768-3311 for more information.
Our community first. This is Moose Talks with Dub Craig on Moose FM.
Our thanks to our guests today, MLA Dan Davies, Swas Ghosh, and Advai Nair for joining us. If you want to read more about the projects that Swas and Advai took to the Canada-wide Science Fair, you can do so by finding the story right now at energeticcity.ca. We also talk about the other two students who went and their projects and what they won. Now, if you missed this episode or you'd like to see it again, the video will be available to watch again shortly on the Moose FM and energeticcity.ca Facebook pages. You can also go to energeticcity.ca/Moose Talks to get the podcast version of this episode if you don't want to see me, but you still want to hear me. That does it for this episode. Moose Talks is produced by Adam Rayburn and Trey Lopushinsky. I'm Dub Craig. Be well.
Join us next Friday at 10 a.m. for another episode of Moose Talks, a weekly talk show about Fort St. John and the North Peace. It's been a